Hi guys, Leanne Holitza at the Healing Studio. It's our weekly oracle reading. Just if you haven't played before, you're going to put in the me please for a card, and in the comment section, know that there's several comment sections feeding in, so it may not look like it's the same order as you, and it may look like I'm only reading for the YouTubes because YouTube lets you comment earlier. Facebook makes you wait till we go live. So that's a little hack. If you want to do this again, go to my Facebook or my YouTube page and subscribe, and then there's a little bell there too that you can even be notified when I go live, and you can comment a little bit early and get to the top of the list. Let's see. A couple things. We just did a radical forgiveness game live here at the studio on Friday. It was very intense because it's a forgiveness game. I am offering that in May virtually. It'll be basically I move the pieces and you play the game with me where you're at. It's a rewriting your soul game. So your soul story, sorry, not your soul. Rewriting the story that your soul is experiencing, and so that you can reframe it into a forgiveness way. Always have our weekly and monthly events, weekly group healings. We have a Reiki share coming up this week. Fusion healing yoga is happening this week. There's a breathwork class coming up on April 19th, that if you want to try that out. Sound baths. And at the end of April, the 26th, I have a group reading with the guides. So it's just some things that are going on. You can go to my website and click on events to see all that stuff, insightfulinspirations.com. But let's go ahead and get started. Okay. So here is what we're going to do. We're using the map for your personal readings. I'm going to use Sanat Kimura today for light activation for us all. And some ocean vivonite, which is, this stuff is like, it's really light and it's really good for kind of clearing out stuck emotions. It comes from the ocean. It comes, through. So there's a watery element. It's a really nice one to hold when you're just kind of feeling stuck. But we're going to start with our weekly reading. That is with the yantra deck. So let's see what it says. So this is how it works. We start with this, and then we build on it. Okay, so we'll build on it. So this is the weekly reading for everybody, and then we'll kind of build on it with our 1, 2, 3, and then our individual cards. If we start seeing something 3 times, it means that it is for all of us, and we start to get the themes for the week. Okay, so here we go for the week. This week's a presence week. Starting off being really good at listening to what's going on, being as present as you can with how things are turning out. Your helper card is notice where you lack focus. Notice where you're off center. What throws you off center? See if you can come back into an awareness that you don't necessarily have control over all of your external stimuli, but you can discipline your internal focus. Okay, so this card is basically saying, notice what distracts you and then see if you can minimize that distraction. Okay, by the end of the week, we're working on our intuition and being receptive, but there's a little bit of being intuitive versus doing intuition. So this is basically a synchronizing thing where you're trying to find out, what does your internal barometer data centers, what are they telling you is happening this week? Try to stick with that. Try not to look externally as much as you can for that answer. Okay, especially towards the end of the week. We can get ourselves pretty freaked out pretty fast if we look at the world through somebody else's eyes, right? Okay, here we go. Now we're going to do our 1, 2, 3. Now, if you're watching later, thanks for watching later. If you're watching live, here's your start too. Thank you for coming. And we are going to do a 1, 2, 3. So you're going to resonate with whatever number feels good to you. So there's a 1, there's a 2, and there's a 3. Okay, so just take a minute. Which card is for you first? Okay, building on the reading we just did. Okay, if you picked 1, you're going to be working on the sacred pool. Okay, so this is that internal access to the wisdom, the emotional access, really letting yourself be aware to what the emotional access is saying. Let yourself be aware that you are floating kind of in your own wisdom this week. Okay, if you picked 2, you got this card in the protective, so it's strength. And see how she's balancing. Now, if you got this, this is saying basically that you already have the strength that you need. You already have the talents you need to get through to it. Use those strengths to protect yourself and go inward, okay? Now, if you picked 3, you got wide open, okay? So time to really look to the skies, really look to the truth, really look to the higher self to see what's going on, and really acknowledging that you are the receiver of that divine information, okay? All right, let's get going on our individual cards. All right, so Hannah, you got to the top of the list here. Early bird clocked your comment at 7:48 a.m. today. Okay, at least my time. You're in a metamorphosis. Okay, so big transition time for you. Lots of things changing. You could not even possibly know yourself as who you're becoming because you don't know yet. It's in this big change time. So what do you do during metamorphosis? You allow. You let go of the stuff that's not serving you anymore. You let go of the wounds that aren't necessarily going to serve you to carry around, and you go forward into yourself as the change, okay? So just, I mean, it's a little bit difficult to know and sometimes can be uncomfortable to be in that change, but that's where you're at. Okay. Gina, you are in solitude upside down. Okay, so this means it's good for you to back up a little bit, go by yourself. Being by yourself sometimes helps. Just kind of get some truth going through your system, okay? So when it's upside down, it's basically saying it's a protective act to get some solitude for yourself. Get away from the noise as best that you can this week, just to kind of get a little bit more clarity about what's true for you, okay? Kara, details. Okay, so this week, really focusing on the details and focusing on the necessary tasks. Kind of keep organized, kind of keep onto the small stuff, just paying attention. Don't sweat the small stuff, but be in the small stuff, just kind of with a refined eye this week. Okay. Cece, you've got in the protective, the wizard of awareness. Okay. So this is saying pay attention, use what you know. You don't have to tell anybody else what you know. You don't have to go around telling anybody. You just pay attention, know what you know, and use it. And it's in that protective stance. So will protect you to be very aware this week. Okay. Keeping in mind the original cards we started off with, building on that. Cynthia, you've got strength upside down, okay? So if you picked number 2 at the beginning, it's coming back to double down, and we might be doubling down for all of us on this because that's the second time we've seen it. Strength is going to be important to know you already have what you need. You don't need to necessarily do much, but use the strength, right? So just remind yourself of how many times you've come up against things in your life and it's worked out for the better, and use that to kind of drive you this week, okay? Nicole, peaks of joy. Okay, so let yourself just be real happy and joyful this week. Really not worrying about the other shoe dropping, not worrying about what else that might be going on there. Just really give yourself an opportunity to just express joy. Seth, you got sad embrace on the other side, which was in protective. Okay, so that's interesting. You guys are going to kind of counter each other there. So the sad embrace is basically, just kind of acknowledging what you're hanging on to, what pain you're letting kind of drive and dictate your life, and how you can maybe make that something that you might want to let go of if you can, or at very least embrace it to understand it so that it can move through. Okay. And Addison, you're going to focus on the dragon's lair. Okay. So this is very much about protecting yourself. Okay. And giving yourself an opportunity to really know you have what wisdom inside of you. And that wisdom deserves to be protected and acknowledged. I'm hearing from the guys with humility. Okay. So humility just meaning like no egomania about it. I know what I know, right? No, it's like, I know what I know, right? It's a peaceful, I know what I know. Okay. Diane, you're going to focus this week on in the protective bone collector. Now, this is just about wisdom that you've acquired over time, spiritual wisdom, understanding how things went down, why they went down the way they did, that kind of thing, just because you have wisdom from your life. And so this is very much letting you know that this week it would be a protective thing for you to do, to go back to your sacred wisdom, whatever you've learned over this lifetime, bring it on this week, okay? Kimberly, you're going to work in the sacred pool upside down. So if you picked one, it's also saying it again, but it's saying it's be protective. Now, I don't know if you can see this imagery, but she's floating in the water, okay? And there's like spirit coming to her. This is a time to really let your emotions guide you. Let your emotions be embraced. Whatever is coming up, it's totally fine to feel all the feels and let them flow through. Okay. Rob, you got in the protective, come together. Okay. So everybody in this protective mode, everybody in your life who you feel supported by, who helps you feel like you can elevate the energy of love, this is who you want to be around this week. Okay. So really coming together with those friends and family, you might have to intend to do it, in meaning like you might have to be the initiator, you might have to create the plans, but this week it would be a good week to at least pick one really important person and make sure that you're joining them in that energy of love this week. Okay. Robin, in the protective, you're coming apart. Okay. Now this is like basically when your mind is just like, I can't think of it the old way. I can't be the old way. I just am done with it. I got to come apart. Now it's protective. So it's saying this is a good thing. It's always really a good thing when we're kind of moving into change, right? So this card though just says, let yourself come apart. Give yourself some time to be gentle with that come apart. Don't try to slow it down or change it or control it. Okay. Austin, let's see. I'm assuming there's not two Austins with you. Austin, Jordan, and Austin. I'm gonna just guess that there's just an Austin and a Jordan to go for. So if that's not true, if there's another Austin with you, Robin, go ahead and put it in the comments again. But compass for Austin, upside down. So it's protective in nature to go inside yourself and first guide yourself, not let the world tell you what to do, but give yourself a minute. What does my internal divine compass say about my path? Okay. Time to check in with that this week. Jordan, you're working in the spirit of place. Okay. So really be tuning into nature, but also tuning into places. So how does maybe the mountains feel versus the plains? How does it feel to be next to the ocean versus next to the mountains? How about mountainous oceans? Like just kind of feeling into those different places on the earth, even just with just imagination going there in your heart, but really tuning in to the sacredness and the energies that are available in the places. Okay. Joe, you've got movement. Okay. So time to move, time to carry things along with you. You got a little windmill, you got a little balloon, a little movement, a little change this week, just letting yourself. I'm even hearing from your guides to go ahead and, if like, kind of look at your house like you would be moving, and get rid of some stuff that isn't really going to work to go with you into that move. I don't necessarily think that that's an act of suggestion to move in necessary as much as it is to like notice what's bogging you down and not allowing you to really move easily in your space. Okay. Sam, for you, got compass upside down. Second time we've seen it this way. Okay. So again, if we come up with a third time, it'll be for all of us, and I'll get the book out. Because Colette Barron Reed, this is her deck. She might have a different take than I'm getting from your guides, but I'm hearing go inward. Listen to the internal guides compass. Listen to what your emotions are telling you about your path. Listen to what your mind is telling you about your path. Listen what your body's telling you about your path, and let that be what guides you forward this week. Okay. Catherine, you're going to be working on encouragement. Okay. So this is very much about getting encouragement, giving encouragement, being encouraged, all those things. This week, you're going to want to put yourself in alignment with people who can encourage you, situations that allow you to feel strong in that space. Okay. Sometimes we have to intentionally move to places, intentionally find the people. All right. Janelle, okay, up in the protective, follow the leader. Okay, it's going to be protective for you to take a step back. Let someone else lead this week. Let someone else show you the way. Get your mentor kind of lined up, look at the mentor and say, okay, what's next? And see what that shows you this week, okay? That's going to protect you on the path. Donnie, in the protect, you got dry desert, okay? So it's okay. You see the cactus has got the resources that it's kind of storing and waiting for the next thing to come. So this card basically is just saying that it's okay to just acknowledge right now that things aren't moving the way you necessarily want them to, but they will move when they need to, okay? So really let your mind calm down about being in that dry desert this week. Just don't get worked up. It's just a moment. Janice, in the protective, you got details. Okay. So it's just like Kara, you're going to be protected by getting into the details, by allowing yourself to be aware that when you pay attention, things get done correctly the first time. Don't rush through anything. Really do notice, because even that speck of dust over in the corner over there impacts your energy, because you look at it all the time and think, oh, I should deal with that. Right. Just go ahead and do it. All right. Tanya. Okay, so you're stuck in the mud in protective, okay? So the bird's not stuck in the mud, the elephant is stuck in the mud. So notice what parts of your heaviness, what parts of you feel boggy. Pay attention to those parts this week, Ocean Vivonite, to help you get through the bogginess, okay? So this week you might feel a little boggy, and it would be good to focus on what is that about and how do I not bring that forward with me, okay? Oh, I shuffled. So second time we've seen this. Eat 100 foods. Karen, you're going to be also working on stuck in the mud. Sometimes the guides will pull that up when they want us to keep talking about a topic. So the bird on the back can fly away, chooses to use the elephant who's stuck. So kind of notice what you're choosing to ground you or make you feel stuck versus what you can use to make you feel lighter and more open. Okay. Bahar, you're going to be working on making a choice. It's time to do it. The path has come. The door is opening. There's 2 different doors. Which door do you want to take? This week is a week to decide, okay? So don't wait for next week to make those decisions. If there's choices in front of you, choose. Okay, in the protective, second time we've seen this. Reese, you're working with the bone collector. Spiritual wisdom, trying to really be in touch with what you know is protective, is helpful, is attuning for you. Really get that all out and get those tools going this week. Use your own spiritual wisdom to protect yourself. Heidi. Okay, field of dreams in the protective, okay? So look at how there's just everybody's kind of messing around, resting, playing. Okay, so you this week in the protective, it's going to be best for you just to retreat, have a little fun, have a little nature, have yourself a little time with your whimsical side, and that will help protect your energy. Okay. Tiff this week for you, watch out for the goblins. Okay. So this is really not a bad thing. It's basically saying like there's all kinds of mischievous stuff in our world, in our life. It can, be obvious to us or it can be hidden. So just be looking and maybe see if you can just play a little bit. Okay. Play and not be so threatened. Max, you're in a big change. We've seen this at the beginning for Hannah. So you're also there. So you can't know yourself yet. You cannot know yourself. It'll be if you know yourself too fast and you define yourself too early, that might not be the right definition. Okay. So give yourself a minute to just be in the change. Kalina, heal the ouch this week. Okay. So give yourself a chance to really be around the people who can help you look at your wounds and let those wounds shift. Okay. Hold space for them. You don't have to say, oh, I shouldn't have them, but just giving yourself the opportunity to put yourself in a space where you can heal. Okay. Christy. Okay. Third time's the charm on this one, you guys. Compass upside down. All right. So I'm going to pull it up. So this is for all of us now. That's what this means. When it's coming in, this message is for absolutely everyone. So everybody listen up. Here we go. Okay. So here's what it says. What is in your highest power right now? Whatever you constantly focus on long enough becomes your higher power. If you worry about financial insecurity, materialism is your idol. If you obsess over relationship, that is your God. If you're concerned about your weight or your looks or your status, you've lost your personal power and your way. Nothing but spirit can be your guiding force. You'll never truly find what you seek in the worries or distractions. If worries and distractions are your constant focus, surrender, shift your compass, be still Watch as the needle points you to true north. Align yourself and see easily. Find your way back to where you're meant to be. Okay, so go inward, you guys. The internal compass isn't about that, those external things, material world, blah, 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 right? So that's our message for this week. Just really letting yourself choose to focus on what you want to create, not what you don't want. Kira, home upside down, okay? So maybe this week, the protectiveness of your home is something to kind of find within yourself, not necessarily in the actual home. Where do you feel most at home inside of you? That's what you're going to focus on this week, and going there as often as you can. Okay, Finn, you're wishing well. You're going to go and make some wishes and decide that they are going to come true in advance so that you can watch them unfold. When we make wishes, the universe listens. So go ahead and try that out this week. All right, Crystal. Okay, wide open upside down. So it's protective in nature for you not to define right now. Stay open, let the universe show you what's going on. Give yourself the opportunity to see that you don't have all the answers, because the answers don't all live within you. You have the experience of life to unpack. Okay, so this week, really stay open and that's going to protect you. Open to the universe. Okay, Terry, you've got some unexpected visitors. Okay, so that could be many of things. It can be an unexpected thought or emotion. It could be an unexpected person literally showing up at your door. So just be aware and like curious. Don't be like, oh, why is that there? But instead, just be like, oh, why is that there? Okay, so openness to unexpected visitors. Miranda, I hope this week is going better for you. Spirit of the place is upside down. So it's protective for you to go and find the energy that feels good in a space wise, whether it be somewhere in nature, somewhere in your home, somewhere in your inside yourself, just kind of going into finding that there is a place that helps you really tap into what's okay and what's going on right now. Okay. Kelly. Okay, so it sounds scary, but it's in the protective rock bottom. Okay, it's you only can go up here from here. Dark night of soul energy a little bit. It's kind of feeling really intense about how things are going, but it's if you're at the bottom, you can only go up. So let yourself be in that protective mode where you're not necessarily resisting where you are, but be in kind of awareness. Oh, okay. So this is as low as it can go. I can survive this, and then kind of go into your own strength. Okay. Oh, and here we go for Matthew. And this is third time's a charm. We've seen it this way. Strength. See, I told you, go into your own strength. I said it before the card was thrown. I'm going to read the little thing because it's for all of us now. So everybody listen. When you see the strength card reversed, pay particular attention to your health, for this indicates that your body, mind, and spirit needs strengthening at this time. Exercise, rest, proper nutrition are necessary to keep you in balance. Don't deplete yourself or overwork, as now is the time for building your stamina. Perhaps you feel the bonds weakening in a relationship. If they are in danger of being broken, they may need repair. Attend to them before the burden gets too heavy. Be strong, face the reality for your relationship at this time, and give it attention, for fragile threads may give way. Let go of whatever robs you of your life force and trust that something better will take its place. All right, you guys, that's for all of us. So here we go. Use our strength, focus on your health. Notice your internal compass. Stop worrying about the stuff that we don't need to worry about. Patty, wishing well in the protective. Be sure to tend to your wishes, I heard from the guides, okay? So whatever you wish for, be sure that you are advocating and making room for the things that you say you want so that they can come when they've showed up. If you haven't made room for them, they will just pass you by. So go back and kind of revisit what you've wished for and how you can make room for it. Taryn, you're working with the balancing act this week. Okay. So just giving yourself attention to the fact that there's things, that need to be closely paid attention to and to keep them in balance this week. Okay. So it's all about balance. It always is, really. But Lisa, you've got peaks of joy. So in the protective. So this is basically saying, be joyful, be protected of your joy. Don't let anybody else come and steal your joy. Make sure you're tending to what that even means about yourself. Be more creative too. Give yourself an outlet of like, what do I create? Not what does somebody else create that I can use, but what do I create? And really get into that this week and let it be your joy. Natalie. Okay, in the protective, it was upside down. You got moonlight. Okay, so what this is saying is go into the wisdom of your internal world. Go into your feminine side. Go into the side of you that is kind of able to see that you're part of something bigger. And because when the sun is out, you see your ego yourself. When the moon is out, we see everything else. Okay, so this is about seeing everything else right now. The we, not the me. Okay. Sarah, you're going to benefit from some solitude this week in the right side up space. Okay. So, really giving yourself an opportunity to know that that's what is going to advance you forward, is to be by yourself a little bit more. Okay. And Emily's going to work on moonlight, which is upside down, that Natalie just got. Going inward, really focusing. We, not me. What am I working through? What have I been hiding from myself? That all is going to be good this week. Okay. All right. Courtney, gentle gardener. Okay, so for you this week, you're going to work on really preparing for, the growth season. So really not necessarily pulling up any weeds in your life, but just gently tending to your life this week and really paying attention. What relationships, what parts of your health need watered right now? Okay. All right, Eli and Chloe. Eli, you're having to come apart this week, okay? So we've seen this in the protective. We're seeing this now. There's some things that are ready to go, that have to go now. It's time for you to let them go. They are not serving you to bring them forward. So the come apart for this week is beneficial if you don't resist it, okay? Chloe, you're going to work on spirit of place. Second time we've seen it right side up. So go where it feels good to go. Be in nature. Be aware of the different feelings. Be aware of the sacredness of different places. It's really going to help you kind of keep your energy clear. Gina, third time's a charm, you guys. So here we go. Metamorphosis. Okay. So we've seen this card 3 times. So now we're going to work on it. So I'm going to read it. Okay. It's in the right side up spot. It says you are in a process of deep and beautiful change. Butterflies earn their wings through great effort. The process of change is often painful, but is never without losses and sacrifices. If you are to transform from one form to another, it is parts of you need to die. Letting go isn't easy, especially when you're used to thinking a certain way about your life and how you live it. Just as a snake sheds its dead skin and a caterpillar dies so that the butterfly can be born, you are required to release your old ideas and embrace necessary change so you can live your best life. Perhaps you're being asked to let go of low self-worth, a dream that's no longer serving you, a relationship that is draining, or unhealthy habits. Despite your fear, you must accept that this will be a transformational time for you. There will be some loss involved, but you'll love what you've become. All right. So thanks, Gina, for bringing that message home for all of us. But you in particular, really give yourself a chance to know that you can't know who you're becoming yet. You're in the middle of it. Andrea, right side up strength for you. Okay. So this card has been coming upside down, but for you, it's using your strength, using how you've let go of your ego and your self definitions, and where you can just now be free from those titles, from those roles, and now be who you really are when you learned from those roles. Okay. Cameron, you got balancing act upside down, which means it's protective for you to get into awareness that you are balancing some things. It is all very important to pay attention to, and know that if you don't keep the balance, you will have more repair work to do, especially since we're in that metamorphosis time and things. So balancing, letting go versus bringing in. Okay. Clara, ooh, you're coming to life. Okay. All right. So this week, let yourself kind of see how she's coming out of her shell here. So in the time of metamorphosis, you are bringing light to your own power, which is going to be really interesting. You have to share with us how that goes. Kimberly. Okay, third time we've seen the card, but only second time we've seen it right side up, I think. Solitude, going by yourself. Yeah, okay. Nope, the guides are telling me it's for all of us. Okay, so maybe it has already come 3 times. All right, I'm reading it because the guides say it's for all of us. So Kimberly and everybody else, listen up. I guess when we're in metamorphosis, sometimes we have to be away from everybody else's projections, right? I am comfortable in my own skin as I detach to replenish my soul. Meditation is required when you receive the solitude card as a sign. Empty your mind and be superfluous thoughts and allow stillness to follow through your whole being. This is not an advantageous time to ask questions or push forward in any way. Rather, it's a period of conscious retreat. Rather, it's a period to, I just repeated that. It's a conscious retreat. What called for now is to step back and take your focus off your life and your troubles. You'd be surprised at how things sort themselves out once you've replenished your energy, which means a much needed rest and time out. Okay, you guys. Wow. Sounds like a week of big changes, huh? Interesting. All right, here we go. We're almost there. Deanna, get to you, and then we'll call it good for today. Deanna, bone collector, third time's on that one. So the guys are like, oh, hurry, squeeze it in, right? Okay, so here we go. I'll read this last one for us, and then we'll be going on our collective way. The past has a way of repeating itself. When you haven't learned the lesson inherent to the original situation, you're faced with this now. The bone collector is here to challenge you to see yourself as a whole being and not who is perpetually trying to heal the old wound. You'll repeat the past if you don't reclaim the things that you believe were lost. The information you seek lies in your history. Familiarity is in this case isn't an invitation to dance with the old dance once again. Instead, it is to call to retreat and choose differently. The bone collector is a message. If you do what you did, you get what you got. Her warning is delivered with kindness. She has deep love and respect for you, and she will protect you. All right, you guys, we're doing it differently after this week. We're falling for our old patterns, and we're going to stop doing that after this week. So that sounds like a plan to me. All right, you guys, go have a wonderful week, and I will be excited to hear how everybody's metamorphosing. All right, see you next week. Bye.